Yo! You may have seen that Jperm recently uploaded a video called "Your algorithms suck" with like a puking emoji. Yes, I see what you did there, Jperm, clickbaiting us by making us triggered. But anyways, in that video he created something that's called an algometer, which basically just rates your algorithms based on a few criteria. And that's really handy because if you're not certain which algorithm is best for a certain case, you can just put the algorithms through the algometer and it will give them a score based on how good they are. So why am I talking about this? Well, it was my idea. That's right guys, Jperm stole my idea. Actually, I plan to make a video really soon where I would make an algometer like that. Yeah, the thing is, I wouldn't call it an algometer, I would probably call it something like It doesn't matter what I would call it. What I'm going to do in this video is test his algometer to see if it's actually really as good as he claims it to be. Because he made the algometer based on his own algorithms, his own execution times. So who says it will work with our own algorithms? Before we get started, let me first explain how his algometer works. So Jperm developed a formula that takes several factors of an algorithm as input, and based on those factors, the algometer calculates a score based on how good they should be. This should be is important because he tested his own algometer on all of his PLLs and the algometer was 91% accurate. Now these factors are the amount of moves of an alg, the amount of double moves, the amount of hard regrips, and the amount of times you overwork a finger. For example, if we fill in the factors for a T-perm, we get a score of 16. And if we do the same for an NB perm, we get a score of 22. The lower the score, the better the alg, so the T-perm wins here. Now don't worry if you don't know what these factors mean, it isn't really important that you know. But if you do want to know, watch the videos in the description. So now that you understand how his algometer works, let's test it. Now since he used his PLLs to create it, it makes sense that I test it using my own PLLs to see how our results differ. So the first step is of course to time my PLLs. I already did that, so here's the footage. Now, we're not going to use the times on the StackMat timer, because those aren't accurate enough, they're trash. Instead, we're going to frame count the PLLs. Now, if you don't know what frame counting is for some reason, it's literally counting each frame of a footage to get the exact time something took. So I did that to all my PLLs, and here's the exact times I got. Now, I don't care if my times are faster than his. Although there's one thing that I do care about, and that's whether my Jperm is faster than his. Please let it be faster. Jesus Christ! Okay Jperm, you win this one. But remember, I will take revenge by surpassing your subscriber count. Anyways, the results, yes. So then I filled in all these variables so that I can test his algometer using my PLLs and times. Now, before I'm going to show you the results, I want you to guess in the comments how accurate his algometer is on my PLLs. Quickly to repeat, using Jperm's own data, his algometer was 90% accurate, right? So what do you think this percentage will be using my own algorithms, my own times and my own data? Just a percentage. Comment right now. Just on your keyboard. You've done it? Alright, let's show you. 95%! That's insane. It's in fact almost the same percentage as the discount you get when you use discount code CUPED on thecubicle.com. Now I'm just kidding, but really, it's crazy how accurate it is. To showcase just how good his algometer is, if I just use the amount of moves an algorithm has as factor, it would only be 60% accurate. So basically the amount of moves an algorithm has doesn't say much about whether it's good or not. But his algometer is way more accurate. Now, while I was inserting my data, I didn't expect my results to be anywhere close to his predictions, so that I could use the rest of the video optimizing his algometer. But it turns out that it doesn't need much improving, so... However, I do think there's one important factor that he didn't talk about. As you notice, there's two dots that are kind of off on the trend line. And those are my U-perms. They are pretty lit, let me tell you. And the reason they are off is because they're pretty high in move count, but yet super fast. How come they're still so fast? It's partially because of something we can take advantage of that Jperm didn't really talk about. Let me explain. So Jperm was really smart to notice that overworking was a really important factor.
But if I have to use the same finger again so quickly that I can't make it back without wasting time, then that is overworking a finger, and that takes extra time.
And that makes sense, because if you overwork a finger in an algorithm, you completely ruin the flow of the algorithm. However, he didn't realize that there's something just like this, but the other way around, where you can do a move that takes almost no effort at all. I'll show you when that is. So I noticed that when we do R prime, U R prime, it takes the same amount as just doing an R2. And that's because while you do the R prime, your index finger is in the right position to just add a U. So this U move takes no effort at all. You may have already seen this in my table. I have an extra column called Ghost Moves. Pretty dope name, I know. So what I did is I basically went over all the algorithms and see where I could find ghost moves like this. And I stated that each ghost move removed one turn of an algorithm, because a move like this takes almost no time, so -1 would be pretty accurate. So when we apply this parameter, the algometer is 98% accurate, which is just insane, right? Now, an increase of a bit over 2% may not sound like a lot, but you have to know that the closer you get to 100%, the more difficult it will be to make an increase. So 2% is actually quite a lot. Now from here, I wouldn't change anything to the algometer, because at this point it would probably just become nitpicking, and each improvement you make would just make a really minor difference. So I'm not going to do that. But I do have to say, good job, Jperm. I'm like really impressed how good your algometer works. Now, it would be really cool if we can actually make a program that somehow would predict all these factors, so that you could just throw in an algorithm and get a score. And then it would become like a universal score for all the algorithms. That would be pretty dope. But Jperm, if you want to work on that, just give me a call and we'll figure something out.